Happy Mother's Day and race day, everybody. It's Andrew here with Fast Cars, Fast Money, and we're out with another video. This time we're talking about Watkins Glen. So it is a road course today, which that means our main focus is going to be drivers that offer good finishing upside, finishing potential, and ideally place differential upside. This race is 10 laps longer than it was last year, which doesn't really change the strategy too much. But you still want to try to get at least one, primary lap leader in your lineups. We have a four race sample size at Watkins Glen with this Gen 7 car. I think you can also look at practice in qualifying and just road courses in general. So when we get to the driver by driver breakdown, no surprise, but you got SVG here priced up at the top. Then Connor Zilisch, Tyler Reddick, and Christopher Bell. SVG has two races here. In those two races, he finished first and second, and he was a pass on the last lap from Busher. So he's certainly the heavy favorite coming into today. He starts on the pole, so good chance of him being a lap leader. He was also quickest in the 5, 10, and 15 lap averages. And with all that being said, he said he didn't even like his car, that they have a lot of work to do. So, if things go the way that it should, SVG most likely will be in victory lane today. Connor Zillage is priced up to 11.5. He's expensive. He's definitely shown good speed on the road courses, but he hasn't really proved himself yet in terms of the results, which, I'm a little concerned with. He did win yesterday in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and he almost won the truck race. So he's definitely fast. He's definitely very skilled. He's just, quite expensive. It's going to be very difficult to play both of those guys together. If I only had to pick one, I'm going to lean on SVG. Then you get to Reddick and Bell. I like both these guys a lot too. Reddick offers us the most place differential upside of anyone priced up here in the four Watkins Glen races. He's finished inside the top 10 three times, so that's very encouraging. And just with the season this team is having, it's hard to go against Tyler Reddick right now. Um, a guy that maybe is slept on a little bit, maybe won't get the ownership that he should, is actually Christopher Bell. So I'm really going to be aggressive on playing Bell today. He has the third best average finish of 6.8, which is only behind SVG and Busher over the four races here. And if we just look at the last 10 road courses in general, he has eight top five finishes, and he was also the third fastest on the 5 lap average. So really like him a lot for tournaments today. I think he has, good speed, good pace, should give you a little bit of place differential upside and maybe can contend for the win today. Um, the Hendrick cars were kind of surprising. None of them really qualified well. I think they will be able to move forward. Now, Elliott does only have one top 10 in Watkins Glen in this Gen 7 era, but if we look at the last 10 road courses, he's finished in the top 10 7 out of the 10 times. So starting 27th with that type of a, history on the road courses, his reputation, I really think he can move forward and score well today. Then you get to a couple other Hendrick cars. You got Byron and Larson. Both of them have a win here. Byron, you know, he's definitely one of the better road course guys, but he just lacks the place differential upside that some of these other guys do. Or if we're comparing him to like Bell or Reddick, if you can, I'd rather pay up for those guys or maybe even pay down for Busher. Larson's kind of in that same category. Does give you 10 more place differential spots than Byron does, so I'd probably lean on Larson for those reasons. In the last 10 road courses, he has two wins, three top fives, and four top tens. But he's only finished on the lead lap in 7 of those 10 races. So Larson's kind of a boomer bust, type of play. You never really know what you're going to get out of him. A guy that you probably will know what you'll get out of him. He's been pretty consistent, very reliable, has been Chris Busher. So he's been one of the only drivers to beat SVG on a road course. Really, really good race, a couple of years ago. Average finish of fourth here at Watkins Glen. He's 4 for 4 for finishing inside the top 10. Really good value here for $8,800. Gives you some place differential upside and really good history to lean on. Briscoe, more of a tournament play. He just lacks the place differential upside, so maybe not that many people go to him for that reason. He does have two top 10 finishes here over the four races, and he did finish fifth last year, so a little bit more of a tournament option. AJ Allmendinger doesn't really get the love that he used to now that SVG is here, but he is 2 for 4 on finishing in the top five here, which is very strong. So kind of another good, not relatively lower owned, but good tournament option that I think has some good upside. Ty Gibbs may be in the same category as Chase Briscoe. Joe Gibbs' car should be fast. He was P3 in the single lap, which is encouraging. Track history is okay. Briscoe's numbers are a little bit better, but you can kind of sprinkle in Briscoe and Gibbs for tournaments. Blaney had a good car here last year, very encouraging qualifying result, but starting seventh, I don't really see Ryan Blaney driving his way through the field. And given where some of these other cars are at and the speed and the history that they've shown, I have, you know, uh, thinking that those guys are most likely going to pass Blaney, as the race goes on. I feel like Blaney's going to lose some spots. Um, with everyone talking about SVG, if you're looking for a contrarian lap leader, say SVG has an issue or a restart violation or a mechanical, problem or, contact breaks, toe link, you never know what it might be. Well, who's right there to take advantage of it? It's going to be Michael McDowell. Very, very good on the road courses, starts on the front row, priced significantly cheaper than SVG. And he was P5 in the 5 lap average as well, too. So he's no slouch. And we know the ownership gap from SVG to Michael McDowell will be quite extreme. Bowman's a really good place differential upside play. He's really strung together some good finishes as of late. Really good momentum. Starts, he's cheap and starts deep, kind of like that today. Suarez and Chastain. Suarez has strong numbers here with Trackhouse, 2 top 10s in 4 races. Now he's in a Spire car. All the Spire cars seem to have good pace this weekend. Kind of another guy I'm looking at for tournaments. I don't really know how much ownership he will get. Chastain, kind of aggressive with where he starts, but all 3 of the Trackhouse cars start top 5, so they are very dialed in this weekend. He starts right next to Zillage. He's in the same equipment, and he's roughly $4,000 cheaper. Now, Zillage is probably arguably the better road course racer, but for the ownership jump that you can get from Zillage to Chastain is, significant for tournaments. I still don't really feel comfortable playing the RCR cars. Um, Hocevar was one of the handful of drivers that's doing triple duty this weekend. He was actually second fastest in the single lap times in practice. And he did finish third here in 2024. So, another interesting type of tournament play. Cindric was surprisingly the fastest in practice, and he did back it up in qualifying. So that is very encouraging. The somewhat not encouraging is his average finish is 14th here over those Gen 7 races at Watkins Glen. And just in general, his road course results really haven't carried over from the O'Reilly series into the Cup series, but the speed this weekend he is showing is, very promising. I don't really want to get to Denny Hamlin. He just really struggles on the road courses. Maybe you could throw Logano into that category with Hamlin as well too. But if you actually look at where Logano has finished, his results really aren't that bad. He has an 11th place average finish here with 2 top 10s over the 4 races. So, and he starts sixth. So I don't really feel like that many people are going to play him. And if he can hang on and, get a 10th place finish for only $6,900, that's a pretty good value play. A lot of people are probably going to go to Ryan Preece instead. And I don't blame you. He has 3 starts here with an average finish of 13th. If he can just maintain that average starting 30th, that's a lot of positive place differential points. So kind of a cheap PD option, very similar to Alex Bowman. Bubba Wallace, not really a guy that we like to target on the road courses. Todd Gilliland, I wish he started a little further back, but maybe where he starts, he might keep his ownership down. He was actually 10th quickest in the 5 lap average. Well, it's pretty decent on the road courses. So, these are the types of tracks that we look to play Todd at. Be hard playing Todd over Zane. Zane only has 2 starts here, but in those 2 starts, his average finish is 11th, starts 33rd. Even if he can maintain or get slightly close to that average, again, that's a lot of place differential points for your lineup at a pretty cheap price. Keselowski always seems to struggle on these road courses in the next gen era. John Hunter Nemechek starts a little bit too far forward for us. Noah Gragson maybe, you know, reputation on the road courses isn't great. A lot of, single car spins or running in the walls or accidents. But if he can see the finish line, and especially incident free, he should score you a lot of points. He's another driver with the two race sample size here with an average finish of 16th. So getting a guy for $5,900 that starts 35th, with that type of sample size and those results, I'll take that, especially if it gives you some salary relief and to stack some of those top plays. Don't really want to get to Austin Dillon, Eric Jones, Ty Dillon. Maybe Dillon's a little bit more of a tournament, type of cheap play. Stenhouse has just been really bad on the road courses. Herbst is another guy I'm looking at. Been running well as of late. 2311 is a lot better than these other teams that he's priced around. Custer actually qualified decently well, but just hard to trust the Haas factory team. And then below that, Josh Berry has just been very, very bad at the road courses. This is not his style of racing. And I don't really want to get to Cody Ware, Bilicki, or Catherine Legg. So that's going to do it for the Watkins Glen race. Hopefully this has been helpful. If it has, liking the video is always appreciated. Dropping comments is always appreciated as well too. It allows us to reach a little bit more people. If you guys want access to this, it's at Fast Cars FM. We post it over on X. But that'll do it for this weekend. Good luck today and enjoy the race.